Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Katrina Ness, Vanessa Collins, and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings, Vanessa Collins, and Katrina Ness.
Happy Wednesday evening, everyone. Welcome to the After Dark show. Tonight is a packed house with Northwood students and my two amazing peers, Vanessa Collins and Brooke Englehart. Ted, I'm so happy to have Brooke here. Me and Vanessa do a lot of work with her, and it'll be a great conversation tonight.
It's Northwood night, and Brooke, welcome, and we're so honored that you're with us. You're a big star at Northwood, and actually all over automotive. So we're really humbled to have you here tonight.
Thank you so much, Ted, for having me. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, it's all yours.
Okay. Yeah, Brooke really is truly a star. And I know that you recently went to NADA, the Super Bowl of conferences. So if you kind of want to, tell us about your experience there, the connections you made, and anything you want to tell us about the event.
Absolutely. Overall, NADA was by far my favorite Super Bowl type event I've ever attended in the entirety of my lifetime. Granted, I'm only 20, but at the same time, it was such a phenomenal event to be able to attend with Katrina and Vanessa. There was so many connections that were made, and just having that opportunity of attending out in Las Vegas at NADA was such an honor. I had the opportunity and the honor to go on a podcast, the Connected podcast with Reynolds and Reynolds with Greg Uland, and it was such a joy. I truthfully enjoyed that moment. There was just so much that had happened, and it happened so fast, I feel, during my time at NADA. Like, for example, being part of the educational pitch competition. Vanessa and I actually both got to do that, and it was just such a joy to be up on that stage in front of hundreds of people and be able to see exactly what it's like standing in front of such a big audience, but also delivering my personal pitch on the future of the auto retail industry. So that was just such a joy. And I know I've said joy quite a few times, but truthfully, I'm just so joyous of being able to be a part of this automotive industry, this specific industry, and just I'm very grateful.
So, Brooke, I never even asked you, what did you talk about and present for the pitch competition about the future of automotive retail? What was your topic?
Yeah, great question. So essentially my topic kind of went along the aspect of how being unusual is okay at times. It's actually okay at all times. I feel that everybody tends to stick with the usual. I mean, you walk into a dealership and you see cars on your left and right, you see advertisements and posters all around, and then desks and cubicles just plotted around. And I thought about why not making the usual the unusual? And so my idea was implementing augmented reality and virtual reality into different dealerships and give people that opportunity if they go either into the dealership or whether they shop online, they can utilize their phone or their mobile devices to then have like a virtual reality type experience when shopping for their vehicle, and just all around make it a pleasurable experience for those who may not have that opportunity to go into the store. That's why I mentioned it could also be online too, or at home. It's something that I just thought of, something I came up with, and I thought that it could be beneficial. But I just had a joy being able to present it to all those people who are at NADA and those who listen live online.
That's a very awesome and unique kind of take on the future. And I keep seeing the commercials of like the new Apple product, which is like the VR headset. And I don't know, it's very interesting. So it kind of ties into what you were talking about. And you seem like you did it just at the right time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I did see, I think they're calling it Apple Vision Pro, and they're like releasing all those advertisements about it. But yeah, I've seen it. It's quite intense. To see that for the first time and how people can interact with augmented and virtual reality.
Brooke, I got to ask, were you nervous when you were up there talking to Greg Uland and then doing the pitch competition? I just want to know.
I will be fully honest. I mean, I was a little nervous, you know. It takes courage to be able to go in front of that many people for the educational pitch competition, and I'm so proud of all of my peers, including Vanessa, for getting up on that stage and just presenting to all of those people about our own ideas and just sharing our opinions with them, and the fact that they're listening to us too. It's a two-way street in that sense. But I was a little nervous when doing the educational pitch competition. And then when I was with Greg on the podcast, that in itself was quite nerve-wracking. It happened the morning of that I found out that I would be on the podcast, and I'm still so grateful to this day that it had happened. Just because when I was younger, I was always the kind of person to be more reserved. And I've started opening up a lot more. I like to call myself the introverted extrovert. So I like to see myself as someone who is quite extroverted, but also tends to keep themselves reserved at times. But I'm growing out of my shell, stepping out of my comfort zone, and doing that podcast was definitely a step towards that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's amazing, Brooke. I think you're getting so much experience, you know, all the way from the pop-up event at Northwood to the podcast you were on at NADA to now even the After Dark show. You're killing it, Brooke. And on campus, as your friend and peer here at Northwood, I know that you are super involved. Just one of them being our Northwood University International Auto Show. And you are actually my leader on the marketing team. There's Brooke at the pop-up event. She did amazing. There's Katrina. That was an awesome pop-up event. But yeah, so as for the auto show, you know, you're the chief marketing officer, you're the leader. So tell us a little bit about, you know, from the beginning to now, your involvement with NUIAS.
Yeah, thank you, Vanessa, first of all, for all those kind words. Yeah, so the Northwood University International Auto Show, I know, has been mentioned so many times on pop-up events, After Dark show, you name it. But to talk about myself in terms of my involvement with the auto show, I started off as a freshman at Northwood University, being a team member of Team Aquatics. So that dealt with boats. That was really fun. And I started getting a little bit more involved that next year. And I was a co-captain of Team Jaguar Land Rover. So got to be able to drive the car onto campus and be able to present it to the general public. That was so much fun. And something in me wanted to go for the marketing chair position for my sophomore year. And I really don't know what clicked in me, but it just happened. And Vanessa, I'll never forget it. And Katrina too. We all sat in on the interview for the marketing chair position. We were all in an interview together. Truthfully, such a memorable moment. I will never forget it. And we were in the auto show boardroom for quite some time. And then I was able to have these two lovely ladies, Katrina and Vanessa, on my marketing team when I was marketing chair for the auto show for the 60th NUIAS. That was just such a wonderful time. And now I have the opportunity and great privilege to be able to be the chief marketing officer for the 61st NUIAS.
That's awesome, Brooke. Yeah. And do you want to kind of give them some insights on what we're working on over in the marketing team for the auto show?
Yeah, absolutely. So as a marketing team, we've really been working on, just kind of implementing new ideas and new projects towards the auto show. So one of those ways is actually by just, like I mentioned, getting really creative. Whether that includes different types of marketing materials than we've regularly had. So like we always have signage, but maybe something new implemented into it. I don't want to give too much away because I want everybody to be able to come and enjoy the 61st NUIAS. But there is a lot in store for it, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
Awesome.
You guys killed it at NADA. You were really strong. So you know,
you,
people wanted to get a chance to get interviewed by these guys that were there as well. And Brooke, you're so eloquent. I know when we interviewed Kent McDonald recently, that Northwood insisted that a student be there for that interview with Dr. McDonald, and you were selected as the student, and we used that at the Fixed Ops Roundtable to kind of kick off our event on the first morning. So congratulations to you, and you got a great future. So
thank you, Ted. I really appreciate hearing that from the bottom of my heart. That really warms me on the inside, and I'm very touched to be able to hear that, especially from you. So thank you.
So, ladies, go ahead. In fact, were you a part of that pitch competition too? I heard, maybe, or no?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, I was. For NADA, yep, the pitch competition for improving the automotive retail landscape. Me and Brooke initially, we of course wanted to pitch the idea, and it was also a way to even just get us to NADA, which was something really important for us because we just wanted to get out there and make connections and network. But yeah, I did my pitch basically over improving customer experience, just, by little things. One of them was like sending them home with a branded swag bag, with like practical items like, ice scraper, mini trash can, cleaning kit, and then also sending them home with a full tank of gas. And then the other part of the customer experience was also kind of integrating aftermarket within the dealership so that they can, kind of have a sit-down session, a unique sit-down session with the salesperson, and through a digital presentation, whether that's augmented reality or an iPad, kind of go through different accessories that we can add to the car, and so that they can do that right then and there. They don't have to be sent anywhere else. They stay with like the same person the whole time. That kind of improves the customer experience. And yeah, I also talked about like working the accessories pricing into financing of the vehicle too, to make it all bundled together. So that was my idea.
Vanessa, yeah. I would mention that idea to Joe St. John, because he could make that happen with the AutoFi. Oh, they could build that right in. That's a real good idea. So, Brooke, you were both part of Reynolds and Reynolds. Is that? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Vanessa and I had the wonderful opportunity to be an intern for Reynolds and Reynolds during the weekend of the 2024 NADA show. So what this included was we had all first met up before going out to NADA, kind of just getting to know one another. And that included Sean and Mike, both from NADA, from Reynolds and Reynolds. And so what we were able to do is kind of collaborate on exactly what each of us wanted to get out of this internship opportunity for the weekend and for the time being of the 2024 NADA show. And so during that time of being out at the show, we spent a lot of time at their booth and being able to kind of get, like, I would say, the inside scoop potentially on Reynolds and Reynolds, and hear exactly what they do as a company, what they do for their employees, for their customers, for their consumers, you name it. And it was just really great. I felt like as soon as I had stepped onto the carpet of the booth of Reynolds and Reynolds, it felt like family. And I've told that to a number of the employees and executives at Reynolds and Reynolds, and of course they were quite happy to hear that. But it was wonderful to be able to be an aspect or an intern for Reynolds and Reynolds during that weekend. But yeah, and Vanessa was as well. And we both spent quite a bit of time talking with different people at Reynolds and Reynolds, along with our other time commitments at NADA. But it was an amazing time.
And Reynolds and Reynolds is a really great company to be associated with, as I'm sure all you ladies know. They're first class, and they do things absolutely correct. And it's such, I'll use the word joy now, Brooke, to have you as part of the automotive program. I know Katrina is part of the automotive program, and Vanessa as part of the automotive program. Deciding on how far into it she's going to get, but once automotive gets you, it's really it's really interesting. Katrina, this was your second NADA. Comparing it to the previous year, which was, I believe, in Dallas, Texas, how would you rate this one? Were there more people, more dealers? How would you compare the two?
I felt like at times it was kind of wavy. Like there was a lot of people at sometimes, and not a lot of people at others. But overall, I really liked them both. I liked Vegas. I liked Dallas in their own ways. I didn't do the Reynolds and Reynolds opportunity. I was asked to pick them for Sean. So I kind of got to help send these ladies. I texted them. I was like, do you want to go to NADA with Reynolds and Reynolds? And so they jumped at that opportunity. So I kind of just was on my own the whole weekend. So I was at the Northwood booth. I was obviously hanging around my mother at Cox Automotive. I was working with LG. I was doing interviews and whatnot. So it was a great experience. And it felt like it was very like on my own time. And I had I had stuff to do and I could do it when I needed to. And I got to go to lots of different forums and different educational sessions. And overall, it was just a great experience. Yeah.
What would you say, Brooke, was the busiest day of the show? Was it, I think you guys got out there, I think Wednesday-ish or Thursday. Would it have been Thursday, Friday, or Saturday?
And Vanessa and Katrina, you can back me up on this, but I feel like every single day was like the same level of busyness. You know, there was just so many people walking around, and for it being my first NADA, I was a little overwhelmed as soon as I walked in, because you look one way and you see one company, you look another way, you see another company, you look right in front of you, you see people. I mean, there's just stuff going on at every single minute during that show, which is amazing to be able to watch unfold before all of us. But overall, NADA, there was just a lot going on, and I'm very grateful. It goes to show, honestly, it relates back to this industry. There's so much going on in the automotive industry as well. And I feel like that shows a great representation of the industry, just showing how much there is going on, how many people are involved, how many companies there are in the automotive industry, and how many are putting towards that effort into making themselves known in this industry. It's truly fascinating.
And Brooke, there's a lot of naysayers out there, or have been in the past, that have said, you know, the dealers are going away. People are not going to go to dealers anymore. They're going to buy the whole car online. You know, that's a old-fashioned brick and mortar model. What do you guys feel about that? Is that are the dealers, is that here to stay? Is that thriving, or is that winding down? What do you think?
I mean, from my perspective, I feel like there always is opportunity for improvement in the industry. There's always opportunities for improvement in any sort of industry. But especially in the automotive industry, there's so many moments when people can take time to improve themselves as a company, improve themselves as an individual, to then be able to hang around for a little bit longer in the industry if they do feel that they are heading towards that path of not necessarily existing as much as they were in the industry. I've just seen, and I've heard from people too, Ted, that there are dealers that are going away. There are a number of things going away in this industry, but I also feel that the positives that are coming into the industry potentially outweigh that thought. So I personally, I'm a half glass full kind of gal. So I always try to look at the optimistic side of everything. So just thinking about the fact that, like, even though there may be dealers who are going out of this industry, there are more technologies coming into this industry that no one's ever really seen before. And it's wonderful to be able to witness, especially as a young woman trying to define herself in this industry. It's quite fascinating.
Let me ask your partners there at Northwood, Vanessa, being your first NADA, was it, what do you think? Is it a lot? Is it a thriving industry? Now I'll ask Katrina the same question.
I do think it is a thriving industry because, the energy that the individuals within the industry brought to the show, everybody, whether they were running off of a few hours of sleep or not, they were, so happy to be there. They were wanting to make those connections. There were so many people that were inspired and relieved that there are young people like us that are entering the industry, and it made them happy to see it, honestly. And they truly want the best for us. And there was this lady that was, bringing us around, trying to show, introduce us to different people at her company, trying to get those connections for us. And everybody is honestly so amazing, so nice. There are so many people there, but being able to see some friendly faces just from being in the industry for less than a year. It's crazy that I can see familiar faces from people that I've met at the Women in Automotive conference this summer, or people that I've met through your events, Ted, the Fixed Ops Roundtable events and the After Dark shows. And I really do think it's thriving. And when I am at NADA or at different industry events, I do feel like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be.
Wow. All right. I like that. Cool.
For me, I think it, like Vanessa said, it's a thriving industry. The vehicle you purchase is the second largest purchase in your entire lifetime behind a house, you know? And back to your question about our dealers getting pushed out the door. I think that there will always...
Oh, we didn't get the whole answer. All right. Hold that thought.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Okay, go ahead. Come back. We lost the last 30 seconds. Say it again.
There will
I'm
always...
not sure why it takes me out. But I think that there will always be a middleman. You see a lot of dealerships kind of moving a lot of their processes online, but it's all for convenience of the customer, just because it's moving more online and, you're getting your papers done and your documents uploaded through, not doing it directly in the dealership. I don't think that it means that the dealership is getting pushed out and that people are just going to start buying straight from the OEM, like you see from Tesla and Rivian and whatnot. I think in most parts of the industry, there will always be the dealer as the middleman for convenience. Because, you hear a lot about how it's not convenient to buy straight from the OEM and not have not be able to test drive your car before you buy it. So that's my take on it.
I know Roger Conan, who's in the chat from Houston. Roger was looking for you guys at the Northwood booth. He went by a couple times. Of course, he got busy with other things as well. And I know Robert Migliaccio, was looking for you folks as well. Some folks found you and some didn't. But Brooke, there's so much going on there, right? Like you said, you look one way and then you look the other way, and there's so much happening in those two halls. Plus, it's Las Vegas and the hoopla, and not every event, can have something like that in Las Vegas. The amount of planning for that, takes an enormous amount of, you guys are familiar with planning for a big event, what you do at Northwood. I know you work on that a year in advance. This one is as much, if not more, right, Brooke? And so this is, it's a big affair.
Oh, certainly. I have learned from the previous year, from the 60th NUIS, of trying to help with the marketing efforts of the show with my team. There's so much that goes into the NADA show that only I know of. I can only imagine if I knew the entire story of how much goes into that show, it would be completely mind-blowing. Just when I talk to my parents, when I talk to them about the auto show and I tell them what I'm doing every single week or each day to try and help make marketing better and better for our auto show, they're mind-blown themselves. And sometimes they're a little bit misunderstanding of exactly how much goes into this show. And the fact that it's 100% student ran for the Northwood University International Auto Show is quite wild to think about. It's completely done by college students. And I personally don't know of any other university where you have opportunities as such to have student-led events and for students to be able to give their own creativeness and ideas and fashion, whatever it ends up being, they're able to give their own uniqueness to these events. And it's great to just be able to watch unfold in front of all of us. And I'm very happy to be able to be a part of so many different student-led events here at Northwood University.
That's awesome.
I think that's preparing you really well. We always talk about, having more women in automotive, but Northwood really opened my eyes to having more young people involved in automotive. And Katrina was very instrumental with Vanessa in getting Alexander to come on the show recently, towards the end of last year, I believe it was, and beginning of this year. And then we had a chance to meet Sam Caldwell, and he was on a panel as well. And there's just so many great people with Northwood. And then you got the faculty, then you got the alumni, right? And it's opened my eyes, Brooke, that a lot of people outside of Northwood, they may have heard of it, but they don't really know all that it is or what it does. Is it a technical college? I hear all kinds of questions, right? People don't know. So I think it's up to all of us, and the folks at Northwood to help tell that story. And that's something that I want to be able to help do this year. is tell the industry exactly what Northwood is and can do, and the great resources that are coming out of the university, like yourself, Brooke, and Katrina, and Vanessa.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ted. Much appreciated.
Very much.
So, Brooke, I want to take a little bit of a pivot. I know that you do so much work with campus involvement and inside and out of school work in the university, but I know you're working an internship with MEMA right now. So I would love to kind of hear about what you do there and your specific roles.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Katrina, for introducing me as that. But yes, so I am a current events intern as well as a marketing intern for MEMA. And for those who don't know what MEMA stands for, it's Motor and Equipment Manufacturers Association. So I have the pleasure to be able to help with so many different aspects of the events that go on through MEMA. One of the big ones to name is Apex, which is co-owned by MEMA and Auto Care Association. So I have been able to help my boss and a number of different employees at MEMA with the fixtures of Apex, with the presentations at different town halls. So whether it's for GM or for Ford or you name it, there's different town halls that occur within MEMA that MEMA helps partner with to be able to give their members sort of that industry information and knowledge. So I'm very excited that I have been able to, I've always been the events intern since June of last year, but just recently I have been able to take on some marketing work as well. So I'm very grateful for that, and just being able to work both into my very busy schedule of marketing and events. It makes me very happy. I'm very grateful to be able to give back to MEMA by just helping with different projects. And it gives me benefits as well in terms of getting to know industry information, and just being able to meet new people, make connections, and network with others.
You are awesome, Brooke. You do so much and you handle it so well. You are a go-getter and you are amazing.
Thank you, Vanessa. Ditto to you too.
Thank you.
I told my daughter Jean that Brooke is going to be on the show tonight, and she had a chance to meet Brooke, and she's just, gaga over Brooke Englehart, right?
That's
so
awesome.
she's really pleased. So a great honor to have all of you here tonight and have you represent Northwood, which you all do extremely well. It would not be an After Dark show if I didn't remind everybody, if we didn't remind everybody, that we do have another event coming up. We just finished the Knights of the Round Table, Brooke, which was in production for a while. It happened last week, right before NADA, and we have another big event. And of course, it's going to have another theme coming for it as well. And here's Melissa coming in now. The theme is we're going to be going back in time for this next one, and we're going back to the 90s, and it's called the 90s Rewind, and it's going to be May 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. That seems like a long ways away, Katrina. But that's the next Fixed Ops Roundtable. And if you haven't already, you can go to fixedopsroundtable.com. You can get your complimentary seats now. And we have a lot of stuff in store that we're rolling out. A lot of great music, a lot of great colors, a lot of themes. And you're going to see all of that in February, March, April, and rolling right into May. And that should be a whole lot of fun for our next event. So.
Yeah. It seems like it's far away, but it's going to be right around the corner as soon as we know it.
It always creeps up on us.
I know. So, on behalf of everybody at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, thank you for being here tonight, Katrina and Vanessa and Brooke. Again, thank you for sharing this half hour with us tonight, and so we could learn more about you.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, we will be back next Monday. We have a fresh show, and we're going to start rolling out the 90s next Monday night. So on behalf of everybody here tonight, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you Monday night, 8 o'clock Eastern.